Something to consider today, it is World Asthma Day, something I'm learning a little bit more about this morning. And joining us from the Lung Association, Melanie Estable-Porter, great to have you here. And also we have Doug Cooper, who's living with asthma. He's been living with asthma for about 25 years and then also has chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. We got it, COPD. And we'll get to hear your story in just a bit because we're actually doing a focus on more what happens in the workplace today, focusing on World Asthma Day. So Melanie, are you able to break it down a little bit more for us to understand?
Sure. Well, at the Lung Association, we often speak about the fact that when you can't breathe, nothing else matters. So we thought today on World Asthma Day, we would just bring attention to the over 100,000 people that may have work-related asthma.
So this is something that would come on later on in life. This isn't child asthma or difficulty breathing as in your youth. This is something that happens once you're actually at work.
Sure, and it in fact breaks down to two different categories. It could be occupational asthma, in which just simply by going into the workplace, maybe the first day, or it could be months into the fact that they've been at the workplace, they develop occupational asthma. So they didn't have the condition to begin with, but then by being surrounded by various substances and agents, they end up with occupational asthma. However, some others may be living with work-exacerbated asthma, in which they have a condition of asthma, and then by being around those substances, in fact, they end up with
it gets worse. It's something that comes on. You worked in the fuel industry for most of your career, and it was about 85, so about 25 years ago when you start to realize things aren't right.
That's correct. Yeah, and at first I had an office that was, I guess 12 to 14 steps up. I used to take those steps 2 at a time. Then it got so that I couldn't. I was only 1 at a time. Then it got so I could only go 2 to 3 steps, and I had to stop and gasp for air. I thought something's wrong, and I just ignored it because you'd rather have a paycheck than stop working. So I just kept going, and pretty soon I ended up in the Queensway Carleton Hospital, just unable to breathe. And that's where I met my respirologist, and he straightened me out.
It's got to be very scary, that scary sensation going
Yeah.
from one extreme down to 2, 3 steps and you're out of breath.
That's correct, yeah, it was. And well, you just think to yourself, you're going to die because you can't breathe, and you look down and your heart's pounding so hard that you think it's coming through your chest. And it's just an unbelievable feeling, like you're drowning.
Like you're,
and you are drowning because you cough, and you cough up sputum, perhaps teaspoon to a tablespoon at a time, and you think, what on earth is happening? And that's when I found out I had asthma.
And at the same time, you're like, you still needed the paycheck. So there's a lot to consider in this, but you've gone to a lot of the things that are offered at the Lung Association. So what has that helped you with there? Oh,
it's helped me tremendously, because I found out that if you ignore these things, which I did at first, along comes COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and emphysema, and I have both now. There's some emphysema on the bottom of my lungs, but I took up swimming. That increased my lung power, because I thought, well, that's what's happening. I'm just getting too old. But that wasn't the case.
That's not the case.
That's not the case at all. And then the Lung Association, they taught me all these exercises, and I even instruct them now. So the lungs and the diaphragm under your lungs, you don't want it to get hard, as a lot of people do, because they're gasping for air. Their shoulders go up and like this, but that's not the case. It's trying to get rid of the oxygen or the carbon dioxide in your system that's causing all this breathlessness.
And you learn how to be able to do that. And these are
That's
programs
correct.
that are offered, Melanie, within the Lung Association to learn how to deal with this.
Indeed, both from the exercise programs whereby somebody is able to increase their lung capacity, and it's greatly helping them. And in fact, many also receive education. Rosario at the Lung Association can help people understand what are the triggers, what are the symptoms that they're experiencing, and then how to take their medication properly, and how to ensure that they're breathing better on a regular basis.
There's probably a lot of people at home right now thinking, this is something that I've started to feel that, going from the 2 steps to the 1 step to being out of breath. So this is something that they might want to consider. Get in touch with the Lung Association, look at all the different factors, maybe make a little bit of a checklist as to what's happening, and there are programs that are available.
Sure.
Something to consider on World Asthma Day, and the website was listed on the screen, www.on.lung.ca. And Doug, thanks for sharing your story.
Oh, that's
Wish you best of
okay.
luck and good luck in the pool with your
I think
swimming.
I should point out too that there's no charge for people with asthma to go in there and have an interview with Rosario. And
It's a
she can
wonderful
teach them
organization.
something. Yep, it
Thank
really
you.
is.
Thank you very much. We do have to take a commercial break.